All right, good morning, guys. Today we are going to do a $100 challenge. Just got done eating breakfast this morning, but today we are going to primarily focus. Our goal is $100, 4 to 5 thrift stores, primarily clothes and small electronics. So this is going to be a little challenge for us that we want to keep to our, keep ourselves motivated in finding things. And so what we'll do in this video here is I'll show you when we're sourcing the items, and then also on top of that, we'll also show exactly, once I get home, we'll show everything. We'll kind of do a recap, and then also once we post it, showing you what our potential profits are going to be on every single item that we have acquired for the day for thrifting. And so as we kind of get everything built up and organized with our thrifting and our sourcing, we're going to make it a kind of a common theme. Every Saturday we go out, we have breakfast together, and we go out and go sourcing. And then during the week, I think that's when I'm going to try to source for stuff for Amazon, whether they're books or used clothes. So hopefully here we go with a good day. We're at our first stop here, Andrea's thrift shop. So never been here before. Hopefully it's a good find and good store. I'm also going to put on the GoPro going through here, and let's see what happens here. First stop, number 1. So this was my first attempt at this store, and the only thing I was able to find really was this pair of shorts. I think these were either North Face or I can't exactly remember. I think they might have been Columbia, but the problem was that this store was outrageously expensive, but then also the clothes were just old and dirty. I've never seen anything like this, and even my wife, we were just at a point where we said, okay, enough is enough. And so as I walked around the store, I'm looking for specific brand names: Michael Kors, Calvin Klein, Vineyard Vines, a lot of Italian brand names. Even if they sound weird, I look them up. But for the most part here at this place, it just was not that good. And we ended up walking out. There just wasn't anything worth it. Even the shorts that I had in my hand, it wouldn't have been a good profit at all. So I ended up putting it back and calling it a day at this store. All right, that store was a bust. I started using my GoPro in there, and then I realized my battery was a little dead, so had to turn it off, and got a little bit of shots in there. But like I said, this one was the first time that we've hit this place, and yeah, the clothes were old, and there just wasn't anything really in there that we saw that would be worth it. It had a 65% off, but it still wasn't even worth the attempt. So we're gonna go down to Juan's and Family Thrift. We hit those 2 places last week. We were really successful in finding things, so hopefully we are able to do the same. So we are back at the thrift store that we were last weekend. We had very good luck with this store here. So hopefully my wife, a lot of the clothes in here are all female clothes. So I'm not really, there's a lot of little trinket kind of items that I was able to find last time here. So hopefully we have the same luck, but let's see. So sadly, I ended up not recording sound on this, and I did find some clothing items which we will post at the end of the video, show you what we exactly found, but otherwise I didn't record sound. So this was a recommendation from a friend to go to this store Black Friday, and I had good findings here, and I'll show you when I'm walking through in a minute, but I ended up having to leave and I'll tell you why at the end. So this was my first time being in this store.
there's just a lot of stuff. I mean, a ton of stuff that was actually pretty valuable in terms of reselling, but it was just all over the place. And I mean, I ended up finding some good items, but when I was in line, I realized I messed up because I didn't look at the sign. I didn't look at the sign to see that today was Saturday, which meant it was $5. So the way this store works, Sundays are $8, Saturdays are $5, Mondays are $4, Tuesdays $3, Wednesdays $2, and I believe Thursdays are $1. I can't remember. It's something like that. But there's one day that it's everything and no matter what the value is, it's $1. So I ended up finding a lot of things. But unfortunately, when I got to the line, I realized that I was going to be paying $5 per item, and it just was not worth it. So I ended up putting everything back, and hopefully, during the week, I can go here after I get off of work. They are open from 10 to 6, so maybe I'll have a little more luck next time with a better little bit of value. Even if it's only $2, I can still be able to walk away with a good amount.
All right, so this is the first time I've been to this Salvation Army here, so hopefully still looking for clothes, but also I'm going to try to see about electronics here. We spent a total of $32, so we still have about $70 to spend for our $100 flip challenge on today's findings. So here we go.
So, walking in the door, I see this sign here, 10% for military. Always a great thing to see. I've had pretty good luck when it comes to finding places like this around this area, certainly around Fort Bliss, but also in Las Cruces. I was able to see a couple places that were for veteran, also military with 10% discount. So, walking in the store, this is really my first time that I've ever been in here, so trying to get my, azimuth as far as where I want to head and, go into the directions that will make a lot of sense. So the first thing I saw here that's kind of stuck out were these brake pads here they were brake shoes for $14.99, but so I ended up just passing on those. I walked around a little bit longer around here just to see what they had, and it really just wasn't that great of a selection around here. The sporting good was kind of mediocre. I saw this, but there's just writing all over, and it was just going to be a large box to send, and so just walked around, like I said, a little bit. I think there's a gentleman to my left here that is sourcing also. It just looked like he was on his phone. And so I do try to look at sport gear from time to time because I've had some success when it comes to selling sports gear, whether it's locally on Facebook Marketplace or even on eBay. I've had a box from bulk.com that was used. But otherwise, it was pretty much mediocre in this section, and we'll move forward from here. So I ended up finding this. It's like a fax paper, and I've seen part-time pickers, and a couple other people that have had luck with items like this, and I didn't really look it up, and I think it was going for about $6 or $7, and it was just for an old school fax machine. And so I was carrying it around. I didn't even look it up, and then I put it back. I just okay, and I'm just gonna cut my losses on this. I don't think it's gonna work. So this was the electronics section here at the Salvation Army, and when I do go through, I look for high brand names: Samsung, RCA, GE. Let's see what else. Seosen, Sony, those types of brand names. Try to stay away from kind of off brand names because they usually do not have a great sell. And you'll see here that I end up grabbing a cassette player from the rack, which probably isn't the right thing to do, but it allows me to be able to test it to make sure that it A, doesn't eat the tape, and B, it can either fast forward or rewind, even though I cannot see video. So with this brand here, this was a Toshiba, and I knew that this would have about a $40 to $50 comp sold on eBay, so of course I wanted to grab it for $9.99. I would have been able to ship this for about $34. I'm sorry, for about $12, and be able to get a decent profit, double my profit, being about $20-$25 on this. But as you can see here, it wouldn't accept the tape. So fortunately for this one here, this was a RCA, which was right underneath the power supply, so I didn't have to move everything around. I hit play, checked to make sure it wasn't eating the tape. Even though I couldn't see the timer, it was fast forwarding and rewinding. It would pause, and then I would be able to hit stop and eject, and it was good to go. So didn't need the tape. And so for $9.99, this RCA, like I said, I didn't even have to look this up. For some odd reason, people have a nostalgia for VHS players, and knowing that these will sell for about $40 to $50 on eBay, I went ahead and secured this, put the tape back, got a cart, and was able to start rolling. So I always look at stuffed animals. I've had very good luck with stuffed animals, vintage stuffed animals for sure. So, you know, I always go through trying to find Sesame Street, Disney, kind of odd characters that I've been able to sell, such as the Fugly dolls. And so always look, and I was almost excited about this Cookie Monster, but look, the mouth was completely ripped apart, so that was pretty much a bust at that point, trying to resource that. So moving on, I started going through the clothes aisle here, and as I mentioned, you know, I'm not the most fashionably sensed type person out there to know what to look for. So, you know, with the help of my wife, I was able to kind of hone in and figure out what brand names to look for. And so I ended up coming across, so this is the Michael Kors here. I passed on it just because it was a pattern and color. It just didn't look like a very promising type. And like I said, I do use Terapeak as I'm going through, but right here, I ended up finding this here. It is a English collection, which it didn't have a sold comp on eBay, but it looked very unique. It had the tags, new with tags, and I'll probably post this on Poshmark too, just to see what I can get for it. I'm gonna try for about $29 and see exactly. And like I said, it didn't come up on here, but the tags are hand sewn and handcrafted, so I mean, it seems like it is a very valuable item. It's just I couldn't figure out where to find it. And you know, like I said, with tags, it's a lot easier to sell clothing items like that, and it also is a large item, so hopefully there will be a buyer for this type of shirt that will be available. So one thing I always try to look for in the aisle is these San Marco blankets, and I'll show you an example of what they look like. A lot of the thrifters that do find them, they sell for about almost $70 to $100, and they can be able to get these at thrift stores for about maybe $10. So I've yet to come across one, and hopefully, you know, between here and Las Cruces and moving going up to Albuquerque, I can maybe, you know, get one. But to this point, I've yet to be able to find one, which is kind of odd because they're normally around here in this area. They're pretty popular, being a border town next to Mexico.
I don't know. I gotta count the receipt. So we're all done here at Salvation Army. It was kind of overpriced. Not the greatest finds. I got a VCR player, some really nice ties. I got a Donald Trump tie, which is going pretty good value on eBay. So like I said, we're gonna probably check out one more store. Did that paint? We're gonna check out one more store and then we're gonna call it a day. I think we're about done. So, all right.
So I ended up having to go back to my car to get the barcode scanner because I went to the very back and they had a pretty good book selection. So I wanted to test my luck. For this store here, I wanted to focus on Amazon. And that's what I normally try to do. When I go into a store, I have a set goal agenda, so I'm not just buying anything. And granted, our budget was $100, and we already spent $33 and $32 in two different stores. So we were stuck at about a $30 profit, a $30 left to spend. So I wanted to be very cognizant of what we were going to spend here. And so books were very ideal. So softbacks here for $1.99. So as you can see here, I go to my app to the Scouty and I end up setting my cost of goods to $2 and pretty much start scanning away at, going through all the aisles here. And like I said, and I'll have a lot of rejects. So after going about, I think, over 2 rows, I finally came across a book that gave me a green light, and this was it was a mixture book of Stephen King. And it was showing that I was going to have a profit of about $14-15, which I show you at the end of the video exactly how much profit that I will be getting from this book. So this was my first time that I've actually even attempted to look at some DVDs, and this was thanks to another YouTuber and Instagram follower that I watch and I follow too. So, and this is the good thing about this community, the reseller community, is that you have an abundance of people that are supportive of each other. And yeah, you think about it, yes, it is your competition, but overall, there's such a huge buyer's market that you're going to be able to find a buyer for pretty much anything that you find that is of profit. So here I was looking through a lot of these DVDs. I was trying to find some big brand names, big name movies, and I just, my Amazon app was just spitting out no's, and I ended up finding one, but it wasn't anything special. This one here is the one I found, and I think it was like a $6 or $7 profit, and I'm just gonna send it into Amazon, and give it a shot. But otherwise, I'll probably stay away from DVDs until I can get a little more comfortable in understanding what I'm looking for, and hopefully not losing any profit.
All right, looks like we're done for the day. This was a third stop. We spent a total, we were actually $6 over budget, but I think we still did good. We actually did really well on this one. We got 20 items for $45. So what does that break it down? Okay, well, we don't have the exact number, but when we get home, we're gonna lay everything out by the store. We're going to lay everything out by the store to give you guys a total rundown number so you can understand what the brands that I was looking for, what brand she was looking for, but then also what we can possibly sell these for with our potential profits. I was able to actually secure some 511 tactical cargo pants. If you find those, grab them. They sell very well, about $20 to $25 used, and I was able to find 2 pairs. And probably the biggest reason around here they're available is because this is a military area. So for all my military friends out there, let me know if you are reselling and if you have luck with 511 tactical pants, because it is normally a common military item that a lot of us like to wear, you know, off duty. So and then I was actually kind of disappointed. They had a U.S. Army white hoodie that we used to get issued back in 2005, 2006, and it was a small, and it was a standard issue from our old PT uniforms before the gray PT uniforms, and now we're on a different one. But it was I would have been amazed if it was a medium or a large. I would have snapped it, probably wore it myself. But overall, we had a good day, and like I said, just once we get home, we will do a full breakdown of everything we got, how much we spent as a total of $106, how many items we gathered, and then the cost of good per item, and then we will post everything. And then as I am telling you how much we paid for or what the item is, show you our actual eBay posting, or if we're going to send it into another place like the Real or Poshmark. So stay tuned for that.